Often people will ask us, how do I actually start a missional community? Well, first, what is a missional community? Missional community is a group of people who are committed to the process of learning how to follow Jesus in such a way that they see their neighbors, their city, their places of work renewed by the gospel. Meaning it's a group of people who are committed to one another and this long process of understanding their identity in Christ, growing up in the gospel, as well as living on mission together so that others are included into the family of God. The other thing that you need to know as you start a missional community is what's essential to have a missional community. There are three elements that make up every missional community. One is a group of people, which we've kind of already discussed. The second is a mission, a people group that you're trying to love together. And then the third thing is leaders. And that's the recipe that's required to seeing a group of people sort of lunge into this journey. Another thing that people often ask us, though, after understanding those things is, now, how do I do it? There's a few practical ways that we step into that. One is getting a group of people together, talking about the gospel, beginning to practice things where we live life in certain rhythms of our culture, where we begin eating with people who don't believe, we begin listening to people, sharing the story of God with people who do not believe, and then it sort of takes off from there. We've created a few resources that really help people step into this, and I would like to highlight just three of those. One is a resource called Missional Community Foundations. This is a document that outlines all of the key principles, all of the biblical backbone for why missional communities even exist and are worthwhile in doing, as well as describing what are the essential steps and processes to being a missional community. And we've used those notes for the last decade to equip people in this. The second thing that you might want to consider is a missional community checklist. This checklist has all the things that are necessary to start a missional community. It has things like a meal person and a place to host and a mission and all of these really important things. So you can download that document, process with you and your fellow people, and understand where you are now and what things you need to develop or get involved in so that you can begin to start a missional community. Then the last resource is what we call the Saturate Field Guide. It's a 10-week group guide that takes people both in personal study as well as communal study. It also has videos and exercises and scripture that all help lay that foundation that we just talked about, understanding the gospel, understanding our identity, and then beginning to live out the gospel and our identity in the places that God's called us and on mission. And what's cool about that resource is after the 10 weeks of doing that work, everyone learning themselves and learning together, you're kind of set up in this position to begin living and growing and answering the questions yourself. So that's how we start missional communities.